Hello. Hi. How are you today?
Oh, it's been very busy and a lot of fun.
Oh, right. It's an amazing day, and yes, I do hope some people come on the call. I haven't managed to tag anyone, so if you're here,
Okay, well, I can start by doing that, Juliet. So that's good. Let me just put my earphones in because I'm conscious that my noisy microphone is very disturbing.
Although it's not disturbing at the moment, that's fine. But
it starts to whistle after a while, doesn't it? So.
It does. So, okay, so that's wonderful. It's such a beautiful day.
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's kind of balmy, and I managed to get maybe 20 minutes into the garden today, but it's been full on clients, and life keeps flowing in an amazing way. So
it does. So what was really beautiful for me about today was because it's the last day of school for the kids for Easter, isn't it? For the children before Easter. I've got to stop saying the word kids. I hate that word. And I was out and about around Hammersmith, and there were teenagers everywhere, just everywhere. And the streets have been deserted for a year. And today was the first day you were having to walk around people, and I was getting bumped into, and the kids everywhere, and they were all in their little shorts and summertime vibe going on. Oh, and it was just bliss. And very few of them were masked. Most of them had no mask on. Most of them.
Wow, that's really interesting, because I've been a little bit out and about today, and there are quite a few people. I haven't seen a single mask.
Yeah.
Not a single mask, except for somebody that turned up for a therapy session with me. And I suggested that this person remove, which I think he was very happy to do.
Yeah.
And so, yes, the topic of masks. And I did raise it because a lot of people are wearing them without realizing how much they actually cut down the oxygen, and that if you do have some kind of disability, then you're not obliged to wear them at all. And in fact, from a trauma point of view, they heighten your level of anxiety by wearing them.
And if you've got any amount of facial hair, or you're a man, they're absolutely useless. They are you. If you've got any amount of, I mean, how many men I saw, because I was on the tube today as well, and so many men with beards wearing a mask, and you can see them adjusting it to make sure it fits over the nose. And I just wanted to poke my finger in the side and say, you are so wasting your time with that. So not even from the blocking perspective, but just from the efficacy, they call it, don't they? Just the efficacy. They don't work if you've got facial hair. They don't work. Full stop. They don't work if you've got facial hair.
Well, they don't work anyway.
I know.
And people completely have been brought in through all this social conditioning and mind control that they do work and that they're doing something, and this belief I've got to do it for my friend. So we've discussed this ad nauseum. I've got to do this because I'm taking care of this sick person or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is a complete con. And I think that the sooner we can ditch the masks,
I think what's happening is the people who are doing it just to keep the peace have decided not to do that anymore, because they're not keeping the peace with people like you and me. So if their intention is to keep the peace, they'll never do it, because it's too divided. Opinions are too divided. You can't keep the peace in a divided situation, can you? You have to take a side. You have to take a side.
And it sprang out of my mouth this morning. So this may if you were thinking of coming and having therapy with me or training with me, this might put you off. But on the other hand, it might actually think I'm the person to work with. So this complete stranger has arrived on my doorstep, who has booked a long trauma healing retreat with me, and he has a mask. And this is the first thing I see as I greet him, and I say, for God's sake, take it off. It's a load of bollocks. So if this this might not accord with your
Yeah, if you don't like it, piss off.
Yeah, your expectations of actually working with me, because I have to be authentic. And
yeah, exactly.
it is completely wounding to my soul and my heart to see somebody. Yeah. I mean, my work is all about empowering people, about helping them to get in touch with their own authenticity and their own power. And if you are wearing a symbol of submission and something that you have to do because you're afraid, then the first step obviously is to take that off. So,
absolutely,
from my own therapeutic point of view with trauma healing, you have to remove the mask.
So, Juliet, I can't find us on Facebook.
Oh my God.
So where are we? Where are we actually broadcasting? Can you find out from Restream where we are? Because I think you might only be on YouTube. We have one person viewing. So viewer, please, whoever you are, very welcome first. Welcome and hello. And you're viewing. If you could put a comment in the chat for us and tell us which platform you're watching. Are you watching from Facebook? Are you watching from YouTube? Where are you actually watching from? Because we'd like to be able to share the experience with more people. And at the moment, oops, I can't find it on Facebook.
Dear. I hope we don't have to stop and start again.
Well, that's all right. If we have to do that, we have to do that. It's fine.
Okay. You are opening.
So when you go on to Restream, what does see? I don't know the Restream. I need to have a look at what you could see, because I've got no idea what you could see on your screen. So we've definitely got one viewer, and they're very patient because they're still here.
That's good. So, well,
yeah, we're live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube.
I did wonder when we started, because I said, hang on a minute, I don't know if the social media things are on. And then I went back and it was all on. So.
It's not done it though. Oops. Sorry.
Yes, they are all turned on. Facebook Live it should all be on.
Okay, so let me just refresh your home page. And it's live on Juliet Yelverton's page, yeah?
Yeah.
Your normal profile page.
My normal, that's where it should be. So patience, brave viewers are here hanging out with us.
Yeah, how else would I be able, because normally when I go to your page, it's just there. But today it's not just there. It's not there. Yeah. You've got Christiana Northrup. You've got Evergreen. You've got Sasha Stone. But not me. I'm feeling very disheartened.
Perhaps I'm being shadow banned or whatever they do to people.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. So let me just say hello here. And hi, this is YouTube. So did you get that message come up? Can you see that on Restream? Maybe not. What was the other one that you're on? Yeah, it's okay. So YouTube is seeing us. And then the other one is Twitter, isn't it, that we're normally on? It's definitely not on Facebook. Oh, I'm turning Twitter into a French word. Twitter. Let's have a look and see if I can find us on Twitter. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take the YouTube link and I'm going to post the YouTube link on my profile page. I'm going to post it on yours as well. Can I? Yeah, put it in your comments.
Connection, okay.
So I put it in your comment, and then I also put it on to my page as well. And I'm getting messages from Paul, so let me send it to Paul so he can come. I've got a message from Jack as well.
Oh, where's Jack? Jack, where are you? Tell us where you are. We want to talk with you. We might even invite you onto the show. So
yeah. So yeah, we need to get Jack on, because Jack asked if he would be able to come on, and I said, yeah, you need to come and talk about your book. So I'd really like to do a chat with Jack. So we are here. So I've sent Jack a message. I've sent Paul a message.
Well, I could see my little ad pre-live with, who put this link, YouTube? That's what you've just put, is it?
Yeah.
How strange is that? How did Jack find it?
No, Jack didn't find it. I just have Jack in. You know, when it's got the faces down the side, when people have recently messaged you.
Yeah.
He's on my list of recently messaged.
Yeah.
So, it was weird because normally, as I say, when I go into the Facebook page, it just normally pops up straight away. So let's see, is it on Twitter? Let me find you on Twitter.
No, I couldn't see it on Twitter either.
No, it doesn't look like it's there either. Okay, well, maybe there's something different about the setup of this restream. Maybe. Who knows? So we've got the YouTube video link, so we can send that to people. So people will be watching on YouTube. And the reason we know that it's live on YouTube is because we're getting the messages at the side, yeah? So yeah, I'm going to say in the messages, come say hello. I'm putting the message there on YouTube. Okay, and if I go live videos on Facebook and see if Facebook shows me that.
I'm wondering.
Juliet, let me see if that shows me something. I found it. I found it on on YouTube, Facebook. Oh no, that's last week. No, that's last week. Because I'm in my flat. So it's definitely not. Oops. That was last week. That was last week's.
Oh, dum dum.
Ho hum. Just it is as it is. Whoever's meant to see us today will see us today. That's what we know. Yeah, we trust.
If you're seeing us, then share it, okay? Because we're here and we could be out in the garden enjoying or eating.
Yeah, don't be wasting our bloody time. Come and watch us.
Yeah, because we might have some useful, helpful things, and you might get an opportunity to actually be on the show. So do share if you are seeing it. And Marion, what do you think? We should stop and start again?
No, I think we should just carry on. So because I think with this whole idea that we've got today, we're talking about masks, because I don't know where we were going to go, but it feels really important to me. Mainly because, oh my God, our faces, we look like we're a couple of banshees. That's funny.
Why?
Right, anyway, just the face, you know, when it gets us, we both like that.
Oh, that's frozen. Oh, no, that was really disconcerting when I first used to see it. So
let me tag it in here as well.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So the other thing I was going to say about masks is, because as we were talking about it, then I was thinking, oh, there's actually a lot to say about this. I saw a post yesterday about Spain. And you know what they're like in Spain? They love the beach. It's like the whole country gets to the beach for the summer. So this Easter weekend is their first beachy weekend of the year normally, right?
Yeah.
They've got to wear a mask on the beach. And some places they're saying they've got to wear a mask in the sea. It's like, the problem is loads of them are going to do it. I just thought, I kind of wish I was there because it would be such a laugh.
It's not a laugh. I find it really distresses me. I mean, every time I see it, it's as if the word insanity is written across it. Because if you haven't got it by now, that all these things that you're being told to do is deliberately to cause you to go insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is just complete insanity.
But for me, I suppose the reason it makes me laugh is because I've always thought I was bad or mean or nasty because I belittle people and I think I'm superior. And when I see that, I go, well, that's true then, isn't it? I'm superior. On planet Marion, I'm absolutely superior to anybody who'd fucking wear a mask on the beach. I'm sorry. I'm just like, no. But I mean, so it kind of, it brings peace to the part of me that's been labelled nasty all my life, even by myself. It's like, yeah, see, I told you so. So that's kind of what makes me laugh. It's like a relief that it isn't me just being mean. People really are stupid. They really are. And that's a bit scary, but it's at the moment, it's funnier than it is scary. I don't know what to do with it, Juliet, but at the moment, it kind of feels like, well...
I don't know what to do with it either, because it's like, yeah, it defies belief that people could actually go that far and follow this complete nonsensical dictates and hand over their power in that way, like just completely hand over the power. And really, it's just coming to awareness that that's what we've been doing for generations, is handing over power to the medical establishment, to the, to all these institutions that are actually set up to take advantage of us. And we have been
to take our power. The whole establishment, you're right, it's absolutely the intention of the establishment is power grab. That's its intention, through and through. So we've got to say hello to Teapot Pixie. Teapot Pixie, is that you, Paul? That sounds like the sort of name that you'd choose. Paul's a musician. He's an Essex boy musician who wears a turkey on his head.
A turkey? I would like to see him. I would like to give people the opportunity to come on, because we're learning how to do this, and it would be really great.
Do you want me to send him the link so he can join us if he wants to?
But we don't want any trolling. We don't want anybody to...
It's not. If he trolls me, I'll go and shoot him.
Bleep off if you come on here and think you're going to troll us. So it's genuine discussion.
No, he is. He is genuine. Is it you, Paul? Tell. It must be, because I know I've just recognised something that you say. So let me.
Okay, because
Paul, I'm sending you a link. If you want to join us, feel free, and if you're too scared, that's okay too. So this whole thing about the Spain and the beach and the mask, and poor Spanish people, they love their tan, they love their bronceador, and they're going to have a white face. They're probably going to have like acne and skin infections, and it's just. I'm hoping that it's enough to awaken their critical thinking. Is my hope, actually. So I'll just giggle until I don't know.
Marion, like we've had wave after wave after wave of like some new insanity being rolled out on us. It's like this restriction and that restriction, and none of it makes sense. And we keep hoping that, maybe this will wake people up, or maybe people will begin to critically think. And I think that is happening. I think more and more people are really becoming aware.
Well, I think that's why so many people were out today without masks on. I mean, it was the most people I've seen on the street and the most faces I've seen. Open faces. I mean, the tube was the same. I actually considered putting my scarf over my mouth at one point, because I was on a tube that was quite busy. And then I thought, where did that thought come from? Because it's not mine. I'm going to send it back with love, because it's not happening. I'm actually really happy to have an inquisitive conversation, a curious conversation with anybody that wants to talk to me. I don't need to even think about covering my face. I'm not interested. So it was very interesting how I went into the hive mind on the tube, because there were a lot more people around today than there ever have been since this whole thing started. But I was like, ooh, like my body was ready to get my scarf. I was like, oh my God, just how easily. So talk to me, Juliet. It is Paul, Talk to me, Juliet, about that social program.
Well, I was watching Amazing Polly did this amazing thing where she created a piece of research to show how easily people's minds are manipulated. So it was an experiment where a group of young people, or they might not have been young, a group of people had to select whether what they were being shown was true or false. And it was set up so the whole group were going to select the false, and there was only one genuine person in there that didn't know what was going on. So the first time it happened, he went with what he really saw and said, this is false. But the others pressed the button, it was true.
It was true.
And then they went through it again. And then the third time, and then he got really unsure of himself and he started looking at the other people, and then he went along and clicked the opposite.
So I saw it, and it said, is this a spoon or a cup? And they were all saying, it's a cup.
Yeah.
And then they said, and so he pressed, no, it's a spoon. And then they said, is this a spoon or a cup? And they were saying spoon, and his spoon as well, didn't he? I saw it. Yeah. What do you think? I think Paul's going to come on because he doesn't have a webcam. Another time, definitely. Yep, right, you're up for that, Paul. But yeah, bring yourself into the conversation on here, Paul, on the chat. So if there's anything we say that you want to tell us bollocks to, we'd like to hear it. And anything you agree with. Huh?
But not to troll us.
He's not trolling us. He's not going to troll us.
No, okay.
No, he's joining in. He's joining in. What is it, from your understanding of trauma, Juliet, what is it that man displayed when he said, oh, I'll follow the status quo? What was it that was going on for that being in that moment that we can understand from a trauma perspective?
Well, from my perspective, what I think might have been happening, why this goes on, is that we need to feel safe in our connections with people.
Okay.
And if we start to feel unsafe, like everybody's displaying a different reality, it's like you're no longer safe in that group that you're in. And so you have to conform. And it's like as you start to experience this lack of safety, then your social nervous system goes offline. And your capacity to think clearly goes offline.
So what happens when you say your social nervous system goes offline? How will people recognize that's what happens to them? What are the sort of basic symptoms or the basic things that happen when you're in that place?
Their capacity to be in relationship diminishes, so they don't feel safe.
What does that feel like, or what happens? What do you do?
We want to close down. We want to go away. We want to get into our own. It's like, don't know if I want to talk to this person. We may even lose the possibility of speaking our truth.
Yeah.
We
lose the possibility of speaking our truth. What was that? What sort of things happen for people in that situation normally, that from your understanding?
We don't feel safe to speak at all. Like, we're asking if anybody wants to come on and talk now, but maybe they don't feel safe. So they might have a lot of things they want to say, but they don't feel safe, so they won't show up. And I experience this. I go into groups and it's like, although in one environment I might be very knowledgeable and feel confident, but in a group of strangers, I might not want to take that risk. And if everybody else in that group is saying something completely the opposite to what your perception is, then it really derails you, doesn't it? Makes you feel really
Yeah, so I've got because I know it does happen to me. I don't know if it's elective mutism or something is the kind of label that I put on it. But so a really simple example for me that I can reference now, because I can help to resource myself when I've referenced this example. So I'll be shopping with a friend and we'll be looking at, I don't know, coats, knickers, anything.
Yeah.
And well, not knickers, because it's not quite the same. Like, they pick up a coat, because a coat is something everybody can see, isn't it, when you wear it? So it takes me ages. If I've got to buy a new coat, it is a shopping expedition for me, because I'm quite fussy about coats. And I've got really long arms and just weird, it has to fit me right. So if my friend is looking at coats and she picks one up and she puts it on, and they go, oh, look, I love this, and I don't like it, I don't say anything. But if I like it, I go, oh, that's nice, that looks good on you. But if I don't like it, I don't speak. And it's almost as if I'm scared that they'll notice from the tone of my voice that I don't like it. And if I lie, they'll hear me lying.
Yeah. And actually, they probably would, because when we're not authentic, or when we are in an activated state, then the tone of our voice will change.
Yeah.
And how we're hearing things will change, and how we're seeing things will change.
And stupidly, I tell people that. So now they know if I don't answer them, it means I don't like it. I've given the game away.
Well, it kind of helps in a way. It's like you've kind of got them on board a bit, like, have some compassion for me, because, you know, this is how I'm trying to deal with this situation.
Yeah.
So I'd really like to know, anyone listening now, it's like, how do you feel when you're out of your comfort zone and everybody else is doing something different to what you agree with or believe in, but you're frightened of appearing to be different?
So another one that I've got that's come up a lot recently for me is with my family. So the alcohol is a real lubricant in our family. And if there's any celebration, the music has to be good. We've got, you know, I've got 4 brothers, and there are some really good taste in music, some of them. So we like our music, we like dancing, we like having fun, we like being intoxicated. And it's as if without the intoxicants, there's no possibility of a party. So now, because I'm less likely to go out of my way to find intoxicants, and I get intoxicated in other ways, you know, can do breathing exercises and get off my head, you know, I don't need to go out and get drunk or get other substances. But it's like, because I'm not happy to just go and sit in the pub or go and have a drink or sit down and drink a bottle of wine every 10 minutes, or because I'm not able to sit with them and do that anymore, when it starts, I don't know what to do with myself. And I have a really weird feeling. Oh dear, is that someone calling me?
You meant to have turned off all your phones and things.
I don't know what it is. It's doing my eardrum. It's making my ears bleed, though.
It's definitely on your side. Definitely.
It's Marlene from South America. That's funny, isn't it? She does that all the time. She phones at the most inappropriate times, and she's never there when I call her back. She lives in Belize in Central America.
Amazing.
She was my landlady. But yeah, this drinking thing and this split. So I start then feeling superior. I don't need alcohol. Oh my God, they're slaves to their alcohol. You know, it's like they're intoxicants. And then I'm calling myself mean, and I'm calling myself superior, and it's just such an inner battle, and they're just enjoying themselves, and then I'm a party pooper and I'm ruining it all, and it's become such a toxic mix for me, and I haven't quite devised a way to be with it and feel like it's all okay. I really haven't got to the bottom of what do I need to do.
It's simply not okay, is it?
No.
No, whichever way you look at it, it's not okay.
Yeah.
If you took the alcohol and you were partying, but you're not actually getting the real connection. And what we need is the connection.
Yeah.
It's like either way, it's not okay. So you can go and pretend and be part of this party, or you could try and step outside, and then you can feel the disconnection even more strongly. Either way, the connection's not there, and what you need is the connection.
Yeah.
So it's not okay. The same as the whole thing with this injection that's going around. It's like, I'm still struggling to, how can I be okay with what's going on? And I can't be. I simply cannot be okay, because it's horrific beyond belief. And this is the root of the cognitive dissonance, isn't it? It's like, how can we be okay with this hoax that's going on, that's telling everybody there's a really terrible, fearful illness going around, and we have to sacrifice all of our freedoms? How do we, either we go along with it, we have to believe it, but we lose the connection to ourselves in doing that. We lose authentic knowing that actually they are lies. or we step out against it, and then we lose the connection with each other because people are still believing in the lies.
And interesting, I think Paul is a time traveller, because he's just commented on what you just said, but he commented a few minutes ago. He says, whether you believe in the virus or not. He's talking about vitamin D, and vitamin C prevents colds and flus. Absolutely. Juliet's big on vitamin D and C. She force feeds me them when I'm staying with her.
Oh yes, that's something. So look, this is what I've got. This is what I'm drinking today.
It's your intoxicant. What is it?
Well, it's not a Bloody Mary, that's for sure. So
it's a bloody beetroot Mary or something. Has it got beetroot in it?
It's beetroot, nettles. What else is it? Turmeric, apple, chard, dandelion. Lots of dandelion.
The dandelions are really out this week, aren't they? It's the first time I've seen them this year, and they're just the sunshine on the ground, aren't they? They really, really make me smile. Dandelions just make me smile.
Absolutely.
They're like cheeky, and they just don't take any shit. And if you try and pull them up, they grow faster and more flowers come. They are so cheeky and so strong and so brave, and just little sunshine on the ground. They just really make me smile.
Absolutely. We should make that our emblem of freedom, the dandelion.
Dandelion.
Yeah.
And what does it mean? Because lion is lion, obviously, isn't it? What does dandy mean in French? Do you know?
Lion. Well, the other name for them are pissenlit, which is piss the bed.
Oh, yeah. We used to call them piss the beds. We the beds, we call them, actually, because we were very posh in Birkenhead.
They're an amazing plant for the kidneys and the liver for cleansing, and they're a diuretic. They will make you pee.
Do you eat the flowers as well? I know, because we use the leaves sometimes in juice, don't we? Green juicing, we'll often put dandelion leaves in, and sometimes put them in a salad as well. They're quite nice in salad.
Yeah.
Ever use flowers?
You can put the flowers in the salad, and they're nice as well.
Oh,
yeah. Make sure there's no little creepy crawlers.
That's extra protein.
Well, I think, isn't it Bill Gates or is it George Soros that wants us to start eating all sorts of bugs and things?
Oh, do you know what I saw? And I don't know how true it is, because it was probably a post on Facebook. What can I say? But I saw that famous people are giving cells that can be cultivated, so you can have a Freddie Mercury burger. It's just like exactly your reaction is just, but I go into this silly, like,
not silly, because this feeds in. I mean, this is absolutely vile and disgusting.
Yeah,
because it does feed into the whole, and I don't even know if I want to say it, but this is part of what does need to come to the light, and that is cannibalism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's part of the whole satanic agenda.
It's all, there's a guy called Charlie Freak who talks about it in the Bible, from Cain and Abel. So Cain was the cannibal and Abel was what he ate, because Abel was able to be a good human and Cain ate him. And he talks about it in this really interesting way. And he also then reflects on Cain and Abel as also the left and right brain. So our left brain is programmed socially, and it can be engineered, programmed by the external forces, whereas our right brain is about our inner subjective experience. And so it's more about who we are. And the way he talks in these amazing, it's very lyrical, the way he talks. And he keeps bringing Bible stories in, and he shows you how that story has been interpreted and how it actually can be a meaningful human experience metaphor as well. Just amazing. So yeah, when we talk about the whole, the eating of the, I've got a story. Shall I tell you my story?
Try it.
It's not horrible. It just makes you go like that. So I was in Italy with some friends this was about 1984. This would have been, interestingly. We were in Italy, in Napoli, just north of Naples. We were in this town, staying with a big family. And every so often we'd go into Naples, into the city. And as we were driving north out of Naples, you'd go over this big hill just before we'd come to where their town was. And every time we'd drive over that hill, you could sort of smell food. There was this foodie smell. Sometimes it'd smell like pizza, but usually it would smell like meat or chicken or sausage or something. And so one day the guy said that we had a different person in the car with us, like his uncle Zetti or something. And this old man said, "So what do you think of the smell of the smell around here?" And we were saying, "Well, it kind of smells a bit like bacon or pork or something." And someone said, no, it smells like chicken. It was the crematorium. That's all we could smell. And it was, after that, every time we drove past it, I was like that. No, I don't want to smell it. I don't want to smell it. It's absolute, but yeah, old Uncle Zetti or Nettie or something his name was, told us, he said, yes.
Oh, it's giving me
It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just really scary.
What's more, have you just seen that thing about Nike and the shoes?
No.
You didn't see that?
No.
I couldn't bear to look at it, but it's it was about Nike making these shoes. They sell for £1,000 a pair.
Mm.
And it's part of the whole I can't give you the details because I had to flip away from it.
Yeah.
But advertised so that I think they've got a satanic symbol on them.
Right.
They have got human blood. They're advertised as having human blood in the soul. The soul transparent, and there's this blood sloshing around.
Somebody is selling a health drink that's called blood, and it's blood coloured. And it's a health drink. And some people who I actually, friends of mine, have been recommending it to each other.
So this is the satanic agenda, isn't it? It's like
to normalize it. Normalize
it. It's like the car industry using children, sexy children, pedophilia who sell their cars. Yeah. And it's about all the stuff about transgenderism being taught in schools, like you know, when they're tiny, like, oh, this is normal and that you should have the right to change your gender.
Pay attention to a child who tells you they want to be the other gender and they're not even 5 yet, and give them the medication to prevent them. Just, I know it is beyond. There is a Soylent Green, so Paul just put a message in. Soylent Green is where we're headed. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a prophetic film, isn't it? A future visionary thing, a bit like 1984 and Aldous Huxley and all of those, what we thought was fictional. They're actually forecasting, not fictional, foresightful.
Yeah. And I haven't seen that. I haven't heard about it. But what
Soylent Green, it's an old film. It's from the 70s or the 60s or something. It's an old film.
But I have heard about restaurants that sell human meat.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, I think the thing is, rather than it just being quirky, understanding that it is a meticulously planned agenda is important, isn't it? Because I think the bit of me that gets giggly is sort of hopeful that it's quirky, but it isn't. I know it's not. I know that there is a malevolent agenda meticulously planned out behind all of this now, which I didn't know before.
Yeah,
I don't know how long I've known.
When you won't take the mask off, there's this like cognitive dissonance going on. Like, I have to believe that what I'm doing is for my own good and for the good of others. Because to consider anything different is just like too disturbing. It's too. Well,
how big is? It's the Pandora's box effect, isn't it? How many? If you still believe that they've got your best interest at heart, stay safe. It's for everybody else's benefit. If you still believe that benefit is their intention, to switch that off from benefit to malevolent, the vastness, the abyss that you would fall into of where the malevolence actually goes, how many strands, how deep it is. I think that's what creates the cognitive dissonance, isn't it? Because it's like your head would just melt if you had to take out the "they've got my best interest at heart" filter. If you had to take that out, literally your brain would just completely melt. Because if you've been caught in that cycle, it's like everything that you stand for and everything that you stand on and everything that you stand against even is built on that same platform of "they've got my best interests at heart."
Yeah.
So you take that platform out, there's nothing, you haven't got a leg to stand on. And I do think that, to me, that's how I understand what the cognitive dissonance is. Is this Paul putting up the thing about the shoes? Yeah. 666 Lil Nas shoes. So Lil Nas is some rapper who's not very good. Oh dear.
Yeah. So, to really, it's like, how do we cope with what's going on when there's a massive cognitive dissonance and it's absolutely too fearful to break through it because your whole world is going to fall apart? It's like, where do you find the ground? Where do you get to that place where, okay, I can step up and I can connect to my, my own source, my life source energy and my own power and authenticity? What helps you to transition into making that step and to realize that once you can stand totally within your own power and your own light, then this malevolent force has no power over you.
No power.
Malevolence. It's fake. It's just complete.
I know.
They're doing it, but they're only managing to do it because you are giving your power to this, because you're going along. And
I mean, for me, because I've always been skeptical about the powers that be since a small child. Like religion, I was brought up in a Catholic family, and I've always had the thought, yeah, but you're telling me what to do and you're not doing it. You're telling me how to behave and you're not doing it. And they even say it, do as I say, not as I do. It was a regular command from parents and from authorities. And so I've always had a little secret voice that's just gone, fuck off. I'll smile sweetly. I'll mute myself, but I am not muting the little voice inside me that goes, no, I'm not paying attention to you. I'll question everything you do. So it's like I don't know I don't know what it would be like to have been sucked in to the state. I mean, I was sucked in enough to be mute because I knew it was dangerous to speak up, but I've always wanted to speak up. I've always had that antagonistic bent towards this authoritarian regime. So for those who don't have the rebel or the antagonism against the system, I think for me, what I do is I model how it is to go like that to the system. I just model it, and people see it and they find it refreshing. So it's like it's even possible if they see me doing it, whereas before they might not have even thought it was possible. So I know I open up possibilities by just being system not interested. It's just the system. And still being able to live in this world and be really successful in this world and have a really good life in this world and still know that the system is not on my side and know that I can just go, I'm on my side, I'm looking after me and I'm all right. Don't you dare try and tell me what to do. And I've always been the same. So I know that, and from friends who tell me, it's like, well, we can see what you're doing, and the clients that work with us, we can see what you're doing. And it's refreshing. It's really refreshing. And so then they can just put their toe in the water because they've seen me do it and they see me happy and they see how I get on and they see how much joy I have in my life. So there's a temptation to put their toe in that water. But what if you don't have that in your life, or what if you are so wedded to the system being your authority? I really don't know where to go. I mean, when I'm working one-on-one with people like we do, Juliet, when you're holding the space for somebody, you are the container to stop them from falling into that abyss, aren't you? When you're in the space holding capacity. Absolutely. And so you can cradle that fall. But how you do that en masse, I don't know. I really don't know.
No, I don't know. But en masse. Well, I think then that this is a kind of division in this conversation. We could go one or other way. It's just like en masse, it's about creating this collective trauma container so that we can explore together what's going on and begin to bring more consciousness to that.
Okay. So, okay, that's nice. So that's actually, that's where the mean ones, my little mean parts, don't help. And the judgmental parts don't help, because if I can remain really purely curious to the other's perspective, regardless of whether they agree with me or not, or I agree with them or not, if I can stay open and really curious, then that actually gives people space to explore their own understandings as well, doesn't it? Because I think we don't do that. We believe what we believe, and we assume those beliefs are truth. We don't explore them because we've got this sense that they're the truth.
But this is what we've been doing in the advanced trauma work, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like creating the safety in the container for us to be able to go into these more subtle areas within oneself where there's dissociation and fragmentation happens, so that we can very gradually bring these pieces back. But they can't come back if it's not safe to come back.
No. So it is about just repetition of this is a safe container, and even in this situation, this is a safe container, and even in that situation, this is a safe container, and even in another situation, this is a safe. So it's that repetitive experiencing being in a safe container, regardless of what state or process I'm in. Yeah, that's really powerful.
All parts are welcome here, and we've all been through this collective trauma. We've all been through this generational trauma, and that's what's really, really been triggered at the moment, and why it feels so dangerous to step out of line, because it brings up absolutely everything that we've suffered, as well as all our our ancestors, our mother, father, grandmother, grandfather. It's like all up, and it's all coming to the surface. So it's very, very difficult to challenge this, but at the same time, it's an incredible opportunity, because once we do that, and we realize, and this is the key part in trauma healing, whether I'm working one-to-one or with a group, if you can establish a point of power of the person that's exploring, it's like, what helped you get through? And this is a question for everybody here now. The most awful situation that you can think of that you've been through, what helped you survive that situation? If you were a small child and you were abused, or you were in hospital when you were tiny with a life-threatening illness, or had a car accident, or whatever, or in a marriage that was really abusive, what helped you survive? What was that thing that got you through? That's the first thing. That's the first question. And
so let's think of an example, because again, if people hear the words and they don't really know what it means, it's good to have an example, isn't it? Excuse me. So one of the things that I was with Tremaine, my teacher, today, and we were looking at trust, and we found parts that felt that they weren't lovable, and the key to it is that you can't trust what's around you, and if you can't trust what's around you, you're seeking. So I said to him, when did you experience deep trust? And he went into all sorts of weird little situations. I went, no, because all of these are superficial trust. It's like, I'm trusting this person right now. So, but there's this undercurrent of distrust. Well, Tremaine is an amazing chess player. He was a champion chess player as a boy, as a young man. And so I said to him, can you remember the very first time in a competition that you knew that you'd won, and there were still 10 moves to prove it, but you knew that you'd won, and all you had to do was play? It didn't matter what you played, you'd won. And I said, does it ever happen? He went, yeah, of course it happens, because if you're a good chess player, you're 10 moves ahead. And he knew he'd won. And I said, that's the feeling. That feeling doesn't matter what you do now. The only thing you could do is swipe the board, to remove the chances of winning. But you've won. And that was to me, that sort of embodied this idea of trust.
Yeah. And it's like when you were little and you were getting beaten, what was it? What was it that helped you survive through that day? So I had this question to somebody I was working with that had a lot of childhood abuse.
Yeah.
It was nature. It was going out and being in nature, witnessing nature, and just feeling this really profound connection in nature.
Okay.
And it could be like somebody that could see what was going on and was able to comfort you, for instance.
Yeah.
So, you know,
yeah, it's interesting because when you say that, because there was a lot of violence in my childhood, when you say that, I go into dissociation. I stayed safe by dissociating, and it was that's not helpful. It was useful because it kept me alive, but it's not a resource that I want to practice. You know what I mean? I think that's why the intoxication in the family is so rife, because that's what the intoxication does, doesn't it? It helps to dissociate from the pain.
Is there anything else apart from dissociation?
Well, we did have nice neighbours, so I could run into the neighbour's house if I could get away. And obviously we lived in little terraced housing, so everybody knew what was going on. And we had nice neighbours on either side. It's strange, actually, because one of the neighbours, my parents quite vilified. She was this kind of hippie lady. She was lovely, but I was given programming that she wasn't a good woman. Whereas the next door neighbour on the other side, who had agoraphobia and couldn't leave the house, she was really sweet, and my mum really liked her. So if I ever ran into their house, it was safe in their house. Yeah.
Yeah. So for people listening, what was it?
Connecting to people, yeah.
Yeah, connect. You know that there's one that you can connect with, even if.
Yeah, or connecting to nature is a good one. Some children read, don't they? I was never a bit. My little brother was a great reader. He got connection in books, and he would lose himself in a story or a book, and the world would disappear, I suppose.
Yeah, so it could be your imagination. It could be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pets are another good one, aren't they? Pets, you can connect with pets.
Yeah. So then that next step is like, okay, so you've identified now something that helped you survive. It's like, bring this thing back on board for yourself. How does it feel in your body when you think about that? What's that feeling of resource in the body? And knowing that you did get through times that were far worse than what's going on at the moment.
Yes.
You were little and vulnerable. And bring back on board that resource that you had and use it now in this moment to go through what you're dealing with it and what we're all dealing with at this moment.
Yeah.
Either that you have to speak out against the insanity and take your mask off and be seen as being different.
Do you know what's just come up? It's great, because what was just coming up then as you were saying that, so I'm thinking, what was it like when I used to go into Taylor's house? Because that was what we called her. Her name was Mrs. Taylor, but we called her Taylor. Okay. And she always had ready salted crisps. And the way she used to eat them, I can still remember the way that because she'd put her tongue out and put the crisp on her tongue and then put it in her mouth. And I remember copying her to eat the crisps the way she would eat the crisps. Wow.
Wow. And how did that feel?
Oh, fabulous, because it was a game and we were doing the same thing and there was a real feeling. I didn't question that she'd liked me. I didn't question that I was safe. There was no question. So this trust, I suppose, is that sense of that as well.
You could feel it.
And you were allowed to eat the crisps, because in our house you'd have had to share them because there was never enough to go around. So, but you had your own bag. You could eat your own bag of crisps. It was yours. Wow. And when they used to put jam on the toast, you could put as much jam on as you wanted. Nobody shouted at you for putting too much jam on the toast.
Wow. So like everything could relax in your being.
Yeah.
That you could be taken care of and have what you want. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice. Oh.
So that's a wonderful memory. So if anybody's got some memories like that, to write them down. And we are coming up. What's the time? 5:54.
Yeah, we're coming up to our time.
We've got 6 minutes. Oh my God, there's so much to share and say, and I had hoped that more people would be listening.
Well, because we didn't go live on Facebook, that's a different thing for us. We're normally on Facebook, aren't we? Our tribe is a Facebook tribe at the moment. But thank you, Paul, for sticking with us. It's really nice that you're still here. Is he putting any more questions?
Why is it not on Facebook? Anyway, don't go into that.
Doesn't matter. It's just not on Facebook. That's all right.
Okay.
I mean, I put the YouTube link on there anyway.
Okay.
Oops. Oh no. I need to stop clicking.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed.
Oh, how can you resource your disappointment, Juliet?
Right, I should go out and plant some plants in the garden in a second. But
oh, nice.
I just want to do a plug for my trauma skills training, which starts in May, and all these things.
So how is it going to be, Juliet? What do people have to do? So that I remember when I came, there was a one-day event where you talked us through the idea of the window of tolerance and the basic understanding of the whole concept of trauma, that the way that you share it. Yes, and then we had 6 workshops. Is it still that same structure?
Yeah, 6 weekend workshops. Absolutely.
Okay.
And
so the weekend, because what I want to do is, if people have an image in their mind of what will be happening over the course, it gives them that relax in the body. So what my experience was that I'd come and stay in Glastonbury, which I'd never been to before, and I think I've practically moved in since then, haven't I? I've never been to one place as many times in my life now. So you go and spend the weekend in Glastonbury. There's accommodation always available where Juliet's got a beautiful house and a beautiful big garden, and it's just stunning. The location, the property is great. It's really cozy and comfy, and then you get 2 full days of teaching and practice. So is it still the same format for this year's training?
Yes, and it's very supportive. I mean, the main thing about it's so different from any other kind of trauma skills training, because it's like just really holding that connection with each other and making that space where whatever wants to show up can show up.
Yeah. And what I loved about it was that you gave really deep teaching, but there's not loads of content. It's very, the way that you've simplified, like a whole book, like that thick, that would have taken me forever to read. You would have covered the majority of that subject matter in 1 or 2 days. And I would have had 1, 2, 3, sometimes 6 or 7 practices of how to implement the teaching from that one book, all in 1 weekend. That was what was amazing for me. It was like I digested and embodied what was in the books that you teach from, which is some of my favorite books. Well, so it was just lovely, because I'm not a brilliant reader, and it takes me ages to get through an Audible book as well, because I have to keep re-listening because I'm not good at it. So to be able to to bring the teachings in and experience the teachings as a process is so powerful. Yeah.
So it's all very experiential, and a lot of holding and some wonderful food and everything.
Oh, the food's amazing as well. Yeah, the food's really, really good. And there's loads of food from the gardens, which is wild and uncultivated, and there's no pesticide or herbicide or any of that stuff. It's just natural wild food. It's delicious.
Absolutely. We had some tremendous salads this weekend, and I didn't even think there would be any available in the gardens. Maya and I went down and looked, and we had a huge bowl full of salad stuff, all sorts of things. We get into the end and we have to say goodbye. We've got a minute. So do share this video, everyone. Email me, email Marion. We're both here to support you in whatever way we can. Marion also has got huge amount of skills and compassion and so on, even though she has horrible bits. And
my little mean one, she loves to play. But we've all got one. This is the thing. We've all got a mean part that we judge, haven't we? So bring your mean part to me, and we can play together.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.